Hey, welcome everyone to another edition of the Late Late Show or Late Night Show. Right. Anyway, what's going on, everyone? This is Peter Parker, aka EJP CEO Corner. I am back for an all new update with you guys. You guys can see the headline. It's a lot of trickery going on in the world of professional wrestling. Um, at the moment, right now, currently, we have the headline there with Braun Strowman in the news right now for a lot of reasons, to be honest with you. And it honestly depends on where exactly where you fall at in the world of wrestling. But yes, so we're going to talk about a lot about all elite wrestling tonight. We're also going to talk about someone else that's in the headlines, and this time it's not really had nothing to do with his political reasons, believe it or not. It's actually something that has to do with more so of just the fact that he's talking. Um, so yeah, also we got the Rock story as well. Stick around for that. But it feels good to be back. Right now, I'm doing this audio chat with you guys. So let me know your thoughts with this. This is something I've been trying to work on for a while. Finally got this together. Shout out to my peoples at Restream. But yeah, so we are back. We are currently live right now. We're live streaming all over on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So all of our subscribers can check us out. Also, going to be I should hop on Insta too, but too little, too late. Hope everyone is doing well today, whatever time you're watching this stream. And also going to put the audio up as well. We're going to start doing that more. I know a lot of people just listen to audio, which is why hence I'm doing audio, live audio, that is, live streaming here. But yeah, all is well over here. It's been, a real concern with all the cities and states opening and whatnot, reopening, and the vaccinations, and then I'm hearing other stories about wrestlers who don't want to get vaxxed, and all this craziness. So it's just interesting what's happening. Everyone is human. However, we definitely need to get those numbers up. So specifically with everyone, not only cities returning, but specifically professional wrestling returning. And so let's just hope everyone stick to plan and do what they have to do. Yeah, so that's a little update there for you guys. So I was minding my business, and I happened to come across this, let's just say, uh, story, if you will, and then I started digging, and then one story turned into another, and then it's just like, okay, this is a conversation. um and for those that know what's going on, just bear with me. You guys can share your thoughts and tweet with us. Like I said, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We're also on Instagram as well, if you want to check out our post or whatnot. We're not live on Instagram right now. Next time I will, I promise. But we are available on, we have our handle on Instagram at DTA Podcast, and also Facebook at DTA Podcast HQ, and at DTA Podcast everywhere else as well. So check us out, guys. You could chat with us and let me know, me or my co-host, Suplex City, at Miss Mania. Let us know what your thoughts are. And I have an interesting clip to share with you guys, because let's just say the streets are talking, and we actually had this conversation so long ago, but this is a conversation that you could keep happening because it's just never going to go away. So I'm going to fill you guys in on that in just a bit. But first, let's get to the story of the day, that being with specifically for me, that is of the day, the night, being Braun Strowman. And so, for those that do not know, about a couple of weeks ago, Braun Strowman, along with about eight other superstars, was released from WWE, and it's interesting what's happening currently. And so Braun Strowman, Aleister Black. You had somebody by the I think the name Vanessa Bourne. You had a couple of people who was under that all in that list. Lana. And apparently, lo and behold, Lana is talking right now. So there's a lot of gossip dropping left and right. But today specifically, it's about Braun Strowman. And I just thought this story was interesting, and then as I said, like I started digging, and then all this other stuff surfaced, and but on the front of it all, in the beginning, story of it all initially started, once the release happened about a week and a half ago or so. Everyone was, up in arms and questioning, scratching their head, and initially I was just like, well, this is what it is. This is how this company do what they do to their employees. Like, it's a fortunate side effect. I hate to even call it that because you know, but this is what they do. So they decided to make the decision to pull the trigger. And like I said, not only was it Braun Strowman, it was also a couple of others. But Braun being the biggest shock of it all, you know, this is where we are. So he was released, right? The news broke. Everyone was up in arms. And so now even Braun. I mean, look at him. So now we're questioning everything, and people are got questions, and we want answers, and damn right we do. So here we are, and I find it interesting. I find it interesting on how did they come to this decision, because according to reports, if you will, they're stating that this has something to do with the fact that budget cuts. And I'm not really buying that. I'm not really buying the whole budget cuts. I mean, guys, tell us your thoughts. Share your thoughts with us. Let us know what you think with this. Do you think that they actually fired Braun Strowman over budget cuts? I mean, think about that. Do you really think that this billion-dollar company decided to fire wrestlers due to budget cuts? Um, hmm. Oh gosh, see why I'm even talking about the about to talk about The Rock. He's already trending for another story. See, here we are, late edition. Um, so multitasking here. Oh gosh. Um, whatever, freaking Rock. What my first question was, okay, so Braun Strowman is gone, and then immediately I already knew, all right, here comes the AEW marks or whatever you want to call them, and here he comes, Braun Strowman to AEW. And it's like, okay, um I I listen, to that notion, we have a story a little later to get to about that. But this is interesting in a sense of just the fact that they, of all people that they had that they could have fired, they decided to fire Braun Strowman, um, along with Aleister Black, who's probably a bigger shock than Braun. But bear with me here, guys, because I'm going to take you guys on a journey here, and hopefully I could get all this in an hour. But so my first question to you, like I said, do you guys agree that WWE fired Braun due to budget cuts? I want people to do me that favor and let's chat about that one, because that's the question. That is the question. Do you agree that WWE fired Braun due to budget cuts? That's the first thing, because that's what they're saying. That is their MO right now. They're saying that they had to let him go. They had to do these things, and so that is the message that they're giving right now. Now I have more context to add to this story, guys. So do you think that they fired him for budget cuts? I think not, clearly. Right now, and that by the way, that is not what Braun looks like right now. Let me see if I can pull up his latest pick. But so while all this is happening, meanwhile, we have Braun. This is what he looks like lately. This is the Braun shaven. I like this look. I like this look for Braun. But this is what he's doing. He's clean shaved now. He's no longer the beast, if you will, from wherever they had him coming from, the Wyatt family. So this is interesting. But back to this story here. So now Braun is shocked, right? He's shocked. He's what do I do? And clearly he's making the best of it. But us as fans, we are, one, we're tired. Two, again, questioning budget cuts. Right. Okay. So we're gonna take that, with a grain of salt, right? So budget cuts, right? So mind you, Vince is a genius, and so this story just gets more and more sorted, because now we have, like I said, everyone said, straight the Braun going to AEW, da da da. So immediately everyone, get on the Twitterers and Facebooks and start, adding on this extra gossip to the win. And when these things happen, it's always interesting when these things happen, because I always just look at it like, okay, well, if Braun is going to get to AEW at some point, we would have, people that follow the dirt sheets, well, I'm not gonna say Meltzer, because Meltzer is like on the tip of everyone's tongue, but I don't really, that he's not really someone I really source after, although it seems like everyone that I tend to try to follow, who are seems different, they tend to pull. So anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. We need to start sharing other forms of media. But so according to other sources, like, we would have heard that already. We would have known that something was happening with Braun, and specifically AEW, because nothing goes within that company that is not, sent out to the public. Oh wait, here we go. So I have a comment here from someone. Someone says here, multi-billion-dollar corporation talking about budget cuts, laugh out loud. Just be straight up and tell them, the wrestlers, you don't want them anymore. Right. Shout out to you. What's the name here we got? Aiden. Shout out to you, Aiden. Like that's so true. That's so true. That is so true. Like, you're $1 billion company, and why would you have to, like, that just doesn't make sense. You guys are making record profits right now during this pandemic, and to my point, I have something really interesting, because I need to add context to this question here. Do you think that they really did fire him over budget cuts? This is insane. Let's take a listen to this clip here. And this is a clip of from the Chris Villite show. I hope I spelled his name, said his name right. And he's specifically talking to someone who's actually running for office here where I live in New York City. But back then he was running for president. Take a listen to what Andrew Yang had to say about Vinnie Mac when he was boasting his numbers after he did that Variety exclusive, and everyone got the gist of the numbers, and then from there, with Saudi Arabia and WWE announcing these record profits, and I'm playing this clip to add context to what I'm talking about, and also what Aiden just said in the comment box just there. So take a listen to this.
Vince is worth 1.7 billion. Vince is worth 1.7 billion. So I don't know if
and the company's worth 3.3 billion. And so if your company's worth 3.3 billion and you're mistreating workers, I mean, that's just shameful. Really, it's shameful. Like there was a point in the distant past where you could have made a legitimate argument based upon cost, but now you can't. Now it's just plain fucking greed, and so we can all see it. Like fans know. So it's one reason why a lot of people want there to be fair treatment of wrestlers and genuine competition in the market.
Fans know. Fans know. You're damn right, Andrew Yang. The fans know. And once again, shout out to Aiden for that comment there. That's just interesting that that, and this was like last, what, it's about last summer or maybe earlier than that, and you had Andrew Yang come out with that statement. He's not stupid. We all see what's going on, and it's just interesting how we all came about to this situation. And so yeah, I'm also shocked at, well, not to say shocked anymore. It's more so just what with this company being so damn wealthy, if you will, with the wealth that this company makes, it's always a ulterior motive behind the people that they fire. They don't fire anyone just for any reason. They fire them for strategic reasons. And so having Braun Strowman fired, you fire Aleister Black. No one really cares about Lana, even though me. I'm a big women's wrestling fan, so I support the ladies. Lana has been learning a lot. Specifically under Naomi, but as a solo wrestler, I didn't think that they probably didn't see much. And there was a lot of stories back when stating that she even came out her mouth and said she's not being punished because of Miro coming to AEW, and there you have it. Now she's gone, so they use you until they don't need you anymore. That being said, and so now Braun Strowman, he's out, he's going crazy. He's like I say, I just showed you the picture. He shaved his damn beard off. He lost his mind, if you will, with his time off. Setting everyone on Twitter rants and all this stuff. I even saw a story with him clapping back at a fan about, because one of the fans said something about NXT, and because they compared the NXT with what's her name? Oh gosh. Indy, there you go. Indy Index. Her from Index. She did something, or was it Raquel? No, Raquel. There you go. Raquel. Let me pull up the damn story. Raquel Gonzalez, the NXT Women's Champion, and there was a story going around with Braun and about that. Where's this at? Right here. Let me pull this damn story up. Okay. Yeah. So Braun takes a jab at NXT on Twitter following Raquel Gonzalez victory at In Your House. Ada has another comment. I remember Miro saying he got released because someone snitched on him trying to unionize. You see? You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Look, Aiden, we are there. We are there, Aiden. Like you know exactly what's going on. Like, and that's the thing now. Like, because of what the way wrestling is, and the way social media is, and 24/7 media format, like, you cannot not see these news stories just coming through, and then for people who have because I talk a lot about this stuff, and I always say, like, it takes a lot of critical thinking to really put the pieces together, because a lot of wrestling fans, specifically people who don't tune in often, who don't really look, because you have to look for this stuff. This stuff don't really come to like people's death. You got to look for these stories that Aiden and I are really talking about, because then you put the pieces together and you're like, okay, so at that time Rusev was trying to unionize. You also had Zelina Vega trying to unionize. They fired Zelina Vega. Rusev was able to snaggle his way out of the contract, and they kept his wife on contract because let's just say because. And then immediately they put Lana in this stupid storyline. That's when everyone was really over it. Once they put her through tables 6 and 7 and 8 times, it's like, okay, we see you, Vince. Exactly. And then Lana went on, like I said, she went on and denied about stating that she's not getting punished for Rusev, aka Miro, now leaving and going to AEW and continuing this brand war. I just never believed it. I even reported on it. I spoke about it on our YouTube channel, DTA Podcast. You guys could check that one out. But it's just, it's so like transparent what's happening, and for anybody to act like we don't know what we're seeing is just asinine. So to this story here, shout out to the Ring Report. It says here that Braun Strowman takes a jab at NXT on Twitter following Raquel Gonzalez in your house victory. So it goes on and says Raquel Gonzalez managed to retain an NXT champion. Spoiler alert for guys who did not watch NXT this past weekend. Spoiler alert, real quick. We have it's the same, Raquel Gonzalez, she retained. Sorry to burst anyone's bubble there. It was a great match, so I still recommend to check it out. But it goes on, it says here, following her retaining title at NXT in your house over Amber Moon. She goes on and says here, but her victory was overshadowed somewhat by a certain former superstar's response to WWE's congratulatory tweet. Braun Strowman, real name Adam Scherr, added the comment, quote, retweeted the comment of WWE congratulating Raquel Gonzalez, says she could beat all these guys in NXT also, which resulted him trending on Twitter. And then somebody else comment to Braun on that same tweet, and then said basically was like, because it was a picture of Raquel Gonzalez holding the title, and basically the guy was like said that Braun has bigger pecs than Raquel. Obviously, talking about her size of her breasts, and Braun responded and said basically she has bigger balls and bigger than you. So everyone started commenting below like, what's going on, where's this coming from? And that's where this story came from. But it's not over there. It's not over. So then Braun goes and now he goes on back on Twitter, and apparently he adds more to the story here, where he says that he's trending now, and he's like, I'm trending, and clearly everyone is feeling what he has to say, and so his ego is definitely up there. And so, but this story was interesting because I'm like, okay, so you're not only trolling WWE, you're also trolling the fans, and that fan that said that deserved what you said back. Like, clearly shut him up. But now we're moving on to the point where we're now like that Braun, he's gone, he's having his fun. Like I said, he's shaved, he don't give a fuck, he's talking shit to everyone. What, Lana going through them tables is thank you, Lana. That yes, she going through those tables. After the first couple of tables, we all knew what was happening there. We all knew what was going on. But yeah, so Braun is wilding out on Twitter, whatever. So that's neither here nor there, right, guys? So now let's get to the real part of this story here. So now, again, reports are floating around about him going to AEW. Will he? Won't he? Will he? Won't he? And then I saw something that hit my desk about stating that Mark Henry here, Mark Henry basically is wanting Braun to come to AEW. But then literally I see another story. Ron is denying it. So it's like, okay. So and we all, Triple H had a surprise this past week. He brought someone back to NXT, somebody who we all thought was gone from WWE. So things can happen. They have a 90-day clause, so things can happen. Anything can happen. So again, guys, share your thoughts with us. You can follow us on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at DTA Podcast. Facebook is at DTA Podcast HQ. Chat with us, either live stream or post video, and let us know your thoughts here. So, as I was saying, it also states with this story about Mark Henry that Braun is denying that this is not happening. So, now I'm going to read this story, and I want you guys to get to tell me what you get from this. So it goes on here, and shout out to the Sun. This one, it says Mark Henry has confirmed is on both sides. Bringing Braun. The WWE favorite after 8 years. 8 years. And then it goes on, but they lost could soon be AEW's gain. Legendary wrestler turned talent scout Henry at 50 would love to bring Strowman over. He told none other than TMZ, super high on my list. Hold on, first of all, can we just talk about how I hate when TMZ is like the source of pro wrestling news? And I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it really grinds my gears. And I guess that makes me a purist, whatever you want to call it. Like, it just grinds my gears when I hear that these wrestlers are getting approached by TMZ. And I understand that, TMZ Sports or whatever, and you're trying to do something different because TMZ is not really news. So, they can't really do like stats and all that stuff. And like, so, but they can just talk about whatever. But them adding wrestling is just like, okay. So they got Mark Henry. And as I said, he goes on and says, I love that dude. Hopefully by the time he's allowed to wrestle in August, because again, 90-day clause, I think the middle of August, then we can have a serious conversation about contractual things of that nature. But right now there's interest on both sides. And then he goes on and says here, I talk to him, I mentor him, but I tell him all the time I can't talk business. When your contract expires, you call and let me know, and then we'll have a talk. Listen. Oh wait. Oh wow. So it goes on here. Oh wow! So it goes on about the Strowman saying that he told him a long time ago that the day I take my boots off from you, I'm done. So, anywho, you guys want to read this story? You guys could go to the Sun and Google at Mark Henry and the Sun, and they got this story on the Sun.com, but the Sun.co. Sorry. I find this interesting, and like I said, it seems very transparent where Mark Henry is saying that there's interest on both sides, and both sides mean Mark and Braun, aka Adam. Like, both sides are currently right now communicating and figuring this stuff out. And there's a possibility that we may see Braun Strowman in AE. Well, guys, according to Braun, as I said, I'm not so sure about that. He's saying that he's not have been contacted. So listen, Mark Henry is a very smart man. And I also know that Braun, we all know how this situation works, right? We all know that, like, basically, if like I said, if this was really going to happen, then we would heard about it. Mark Henry, yes, I do believe Mark Henry. I'm not, hold on, before I even say, I do believe Mark Henry, but what I don't believe is that like, because clearly Braun can't deny or say yes at the moment. It's different. It's different than what Andrade got. So and keep that name. I have something, but so it's different. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I listen. With what happened this past week on NXT, anything can happen. They're bringing people back. People that we thought like people. You guys, I'm sure if you don't know, but they brought back Zelina Vega. There are reports that they're working hard to bring back Aleister Black. So things are is interesting right now. What's happening in the wrestling zygote? But I really am not sure exactly is going to happen. I kind of gave up trying to predict like wrestling in a sense of like who's going to go where until we got confirmation. I mean, we can always have fun to have fantasy stuff like that, but when this happens, it's like, because you never know. Like WWE, I just played that clip. WWE, they're $3.3 billion of worth, and $1 billion company, and Vince McMahon was worth, I believe, 3.3 billion, whatnot. Or I might have it backwards. Point is, billions of dollars, and you know, these type of things. First of all, for a company to have this type of turnover is a big question right there. But the people that they're releasing, that's when it becomes conversation. Like, and that's, hold on right here. Aiden says, I'm starting to lose faith in AEW's booking. I hope they book Braun right if he goes there. I agree. I agree. I agree. And that's a big if, but I agree. I mean, in a sense of, because currently right now, AEW, they're hot. Don't get me wrong. They got a lot of great stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks and leading to the summer. They're about to go on tour. I just saw a story that they're coming to New York. AEW is doing the damn thing. Yes, they're in the red, but I'm sure there's plenty of times WWE been in the red too, and many companies. And this is what you do when you're investing. You're gonna be in the red. I mean, because the AEW is a new company, so and obviously when they choose, you want to make more spending. But right now, AEW is a very, very new company. They're still in their second, third, going into their third year. And when we do these comparables to WWE, sometimes it's not fair all the time because you got to keep remembering that this is a new company. So certain things we can compare oranges and apples, or should we just say, sorry, oranges and oranges, because then it becomes oranges and apples when we start talking about like just the immense amount of access, because that's the thing I always try to clarify with people. Like when it comes to this brand war, AEW is nowhere near WWE, but trust and believe they're trying every day, each and every day, to make sure that they are trying to stay current in the pro wrestling stratosphere and be a contender amongst WWE. And on the flip side with WWE, a lot of people always want to say about, oh, Vince McMahon don't care about AEW, WWE don't give a damn about AEW. That's all bull, because if they wouldn't have put NXT there weeks before AEW launch. They wouldn't have done all of this advertising, all this stuff that they're doing, all the purchasing wrestlers, trying to do so much things to lock wrestlers down. They're firing, rehiring just to lock them down and lock a contract so you won't go nowhere. They're doing all this stuff to protect themselves. Vince doesn't want a WCW, ECW 2.0, 3.0. He doesn't want that, and you can't stop that. But what he can do is control his own inside, which is why he's coming out with these edicts every damn day. There's another edict coming out about something. I think I saw this past week. Now you can't even if you are fired, like Braun Strowman, he's fired, but he's still on the 90s day. But once that 90 day is over and you do not come back, you are officially released. You can no longer sign your signature if someone wants your autograph under your professional wrestling name. I said that loud and clear, y'all. You cannot put your wrestling name that you were signed under in WWE once you're fired. That is the latest edict. Like, so think about that. And someone said, because I saw it on the Reddit thread, but someone said, how the hell are they going to track that? Who knows? I don't know. But all I know is Vinnie Mac is wilding. But this is what you do when you run your company like its own government. So, and I could go on and on about this because this is something that I'm really, 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 really passionate about. Like when it comes to wrestlers unionizing, I saw Aiden, you brought that up and stuff. Like it's real interesting with that conversation. I get very like just passionate about talking about this stuff because these wrestlers, like, I always say to myself lately, like, Eric, you're not a wrestler. Like, you're not, I'm not. So when I get in my feelings and like, because it on one hand, it pisses me off because it's like, for instance, with the Zelina Vega, right? She got terminated because she didn't want to release her Twitch account and her OnlyFans. She didn't want to give that up to Vinnie Mac when he came out with that edict about third parties, all that stuff, Twitch Cameo and shit like that. And now they're giving out Cameo for Hell in a Cell. If you guys want a cameo from WWE superstars, go right ahead, spend all your damn money. I think $400 from like Alexa Bliss, $400 to get a 10-second video from Alexa Bliss. Okay, but to go ahead, and I think Undertaker was $1,000. Go right ahead. You could use that as your own freaking NFT, I guess. But point being is, like, they do all this stuff again to continue to set this notion, like, and so when Zelina Vega got fired for all that, I even spoke about it. I did a whole video on YouTube about it, on the live stream, and it was all about Zelina Vega. We played the video of her on Twitch where she was crying and all this stuff, and I was for it, and then found out she went to speak with the SAG and AFTRA president to talk about unionization. There was even a story I added to it about CM Punk talking about bootlickers and why this would never happen. So I give a bunch of comparisons on, like, the story, but when it was happening, I thought this was gone. I was like, oh damn, yes, Zelina Vega, like, this is the closest we ever got. These wrestlers deserve it. And then literally I hear now that she's coming back. So obviously it didn't happen, and they got the best of her, and now they pulling her back in and whatever because of 90-day and plus I mean, at that time, Zelina Vega's husband, Aleister Black, was a part of the company. So that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, okay, well, clearly she's staying because of her husband. Why else? Why I don't get why else, so it's just interesting when all that, came into play, and it's just so it's just crazy. So now she's back, and so get into that. Let's just get into that right now. Let's just get into the fact that Zelina decided to come back because I'm sure her husband was there. And now they fired your man. And like I said, things happen, but just get into so let me get this straight. And remember, according to reports, they dragged her ass out of the arena. Okay? Zelina Vega, that is. After Vince told her to come to the office, Vince wants to speak to you, and then what happened was what happened. So, it's just real telling, and the tea is gonna come out sooner than later. Because I don't think Zelina Vega is gonna stay. I mean, and if she does, and even if they bring back Aleister Black, because they're like, okay, I know I'm going on. I'm going to get to Braun. We're going to take a break. I'm going to get to Braun. We're going to follow up on this Braun story. But real quick, like, this is just so WWE. They lock you back in, and then they bring you back with all these promises, and then they put you out there for nothing. And do we honestly think that they're going to really do something with Zelina Vega character? And you know what? The chances of that happening, honestly, is, and I'm being dead ass, honestly, it's like a 20% chance of that happening. I just saw reports the other day that my girl from MLW, she's no longer there no more, and now apparently she's at WWE Performance Center, and they've been wanting to work with her forever. But last time she decided to go back to MLW. Zelina. Not, I'm talking about Zelina Vega, but the other woman that I'm talking about, another Latinx female, is Salina. Salina de Renta. There you go. So she is at the WWE's Performance Center. Let me make sure I said her name right, because that is important. Her official name is Natalia Class, but she goes by Salina de la Renta. So Salina de la Renta. And Renta, obviously, guys. But yeah, and then you got Zelina Vega, and apparently, if I'm not mistaken, they did tag team before, if I'm not mistaken. So that could be a possibility. But again, we're talking about WWE. And let's talk about their women's division. They got Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bailey, Bianca, Nia, Shayna, Alexa Bliss, um, Naomi. Did I say Naomi? And Nikki Cross. I'm at 10, guys. I'm at 10 female wrestlers and over like 200 men. So in the main roster, okay, so fine. And that's Raw and SmackDown. And then you got Piper, Nevin, and Evolution, and Mandy. All right, so we got about 15, 20 tops. Fine, fine. It's still, but the way they booked them, you would think they only have four. But okay, so they have people, and then they're adding Zelina back in, and they're bringing Salina into the performance. So they have, and plus NXT, but NXT is not looked as a third brand. And that's another thing that we have to realize with this damn company. They're never going to acknowledge it. You saw what happened this past week on Raw. Speaking of Piper Nevin and Evolution, Evolution, damn it. They brought Evolution with Piper, and the commentators, the guys in the commentary didn't even act like they didn't even know who she was. NXT doesn't exist to Vince. Deal with it. And that's just the tea right there. Tell us your thoughts, guys. Tweet with us at DTA Podcast. Like I said, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Wherever you are, wherever you follow us, just let me know your thoughts. What's going on? Shout out to you, Aiden. We've been chatting all night. It says here, 2021, still no union. Exactly. No damn union. And you want to know why? Because Vinnie Mac made sure that there's never going to be a union. And yeah, this is something that, like I said, I'm very passionate about. I need to do a whole video just on it because, there's so many stories from the past of wrestlers trying. And every time, like CM Punk said, you got bootlickers, i.e. Hogan. Yep, I said it. And speaking of Hogan, I have a story that connects to him, unfortunately. So stick around for that, guys. Like I said, we're going to take a very, very quick break. But yeah, so coming up, what I am going to be talking about is we're going to follow up this Braun Strowman story. And I have a follow-up to this story with Braun because basically, if you guys thought that this whole situation was over, yeah, because apparently there's an article out that came out 3 days ago that I was just like, okay, I need to talk about this. So I add this in here, but as we go into break, I also want to talk about what we have coming up following that is the story about The Rock. He stirred up controversy and got a couple of people pissed off, including a WWE legend. Is he a Hall of Famer? I have no idea. He should be. Yeah, I think so. He is. He is a Hall of Fame. Yes, he is. He is. I remember him getting inducted. But if not, I'm sure you guys will let me know in the chat. But yeah, so we got that coming up as well. And like I said, I'm at The Rock until he gives me a reason not to be. And as of late, I don't know. Let me stop. The Rock he's doing a lot of good things. But this story I have with him is basically him just opening his mouth, and it was something real simple, and it was just like okay, but then the person he triggered clearly could not leave it alone. But yeah, guys, so you are watching DTA Podcast. This is the late edition, or you are listening to DTA Podcast. Either or, we will be right back.
moment where in all of this, I go, okay, well, what if we do an all-female branded product? What if we just do an all-female branded show? There's different shows and stuff that we could do within it or whatever. And if I could help lead up and head up that, and we have like an awesome team of women that we could really like lean on and create. We have the talent, we have all these people, we have the tools, we have the facilities, we have everything that we need. And it's like, it could literally be all these like little things that would help, really, really help a lot of these girls who aren't getting the television time or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I shit you not, like this one person said, because I kept getting, I feel like I've talked about this several times to different people in different roles and kind of gone like, okay, just to kind of feel it out. But finally over the weekend, while I'm sitting back there, kind of like just evaluating like where I'm going to fit in, he says to me, they're never going to do it ever. Women's wrestling doesn't really make money. The Women's Evolution pay-per-view, lowest rated pay-per-view ever in the history of WWE pay-per-views. So, I mean, I don't know, like, I get what you're trying to do, but I don't understand why you're fighting so hard for it. Like, you should just kind of like play the cards that you're kind of dealt and then see if there's a way to like incorporate that within a different show rather than fighting for it to be its own show.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. Well, like, I kind of just like, have like realized like everything.
The ratings obviously depicts how much money they could get with advertising, not specifically with the demographics. So if the ratings are going down to this point and demographics are falling way down on Monday night specifically, we're not talking about Wednesday, we're just talking about Monday. This is why they did what they did, and then obviously WWE was like, oh, there's nothing going on here, but here we are with the Legends Night, and it was a success. But again, as I said to you, Suplex City, can he continue it? What do you think?
I think that if he continues to give good content, then and he switches some things around, because Drew McIntyre had beaten everyone on the roster except for the Fiend. Yeah, if he continues, can he pull it out? Look, the ratings don't lie, numbers don't lie. Obviously, he does something right, but I don't feel like it's all him. I think that when he takes advice from some of the other creative backstage, and he goes with them, and he gives them that opens up. Yeah, if he gives them free for all to open and do what they want, I think that the ratings go up. I think when Vince McMahon turns around and says, "Hey, no, let's do it this way," I think the ratings go down. I think that he has lost, in my opinion, he has lost a hold on reality.